morning, and welcome to an author discussion with Genei Jones. You are live with author Genei Jones, and I'm the host of this call, author Tiffany Woods from Inner Peace Promotions. We're going to have a Q&A session with the author, and we're also going to hear an intimate reading from the upcoming release of the book, Unmuted, True Events of a Tormented Child. Genei is on the line, so Genei, say hello to your callers.
Hello.
Okay. We're going to start out, and Genei, can you tell your callers when this book will be released and how they can go about pre-ordering the book, and just give more information about the book? What's your website?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. This book will be releasing March 1st, 2014. You guys can go and pre-order your copies at www.geneijones.com. The price of the pre-orders for right now is $11.99. After February 1st, the price will go up. That's, yeah.
Okay. Let your readers know what differentiates your story from any other story. What makes Unmuted different from any other book of its kind?
Let's see. My book, I would say that my book is different because, to me, this book is more than just a story. I wrote this story for anyone who's ever, gone through any type of traumatic experiences. It doesn't necessarily have to be rape and molestation, but any struggle, period, this is what I wrote this book for. Anybody who's ever had a struggle or any type of pain or hurt. And my story has, a lot of twists and turns. A lot of traumatic experiences have happened to me since, birth, basically. So I believe that's what, differentiates my story from the rest.
Okay. So your book, Unmuted, True Events of a Tormented Child, it is written in a story form. What is the main character's name of the book?
Harmony. Harmony is the main character.
Okay. And what age does her story begin?
Age 1.
Okay. And does she go into great detail, even from the beginning of the book, and telling, even events that happened to her at age 1?
Yeah. In the beginning of the book, the story is written at a narrative standpoint, but at age 3, it starts at Harmony's standpoint. So.
Okay. So from age 1 to 3 is written in third person, and starting at age 3 is written in first person.
Correct.
Okay. So let's get into some reading. I know your listeners want to hear some parts of Unmuted, and you can go ahead and let them know what you're reading from what chapter, what the title of the chapter is, and just read maybe a fourth way. Don't give away too many details, because we want them to go and pre-order their copy of the book and get that secured. So just read maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs into whatever chapter you're going to be reading from, but let them know what you're reading from, what chapter you're reading from.
All right. I'm going to read from chapter 3. The title of the chapter is called Sir. All right.
Okay, as you heard, she's going to be reading from chapter 3, and the title of the chapter is Sir, S-I-R. Go ahead, Genei.
Okay. Sir was sitting outside on the front porch. It was a nice day outside, so I went on the porch to play. Shortly after I came outside, Sir's friend, Mr. Delwood, came from down the street and sat on our porch. I didn't really like him because he was always staring at me. I was picking little flowers from the grass. Then Sir called me over to where they were. As I was walking over to them, I heard Sir telling Mr. Delwood, "Yeah, she'll do it. She's a good girl. When I got to them, Sir looked at me and said, now, if you're going to be a good girl, I'll take you over to White Castles and let you get whatever you want. I hung my head and stood there silently. Be a good girl for Mr. Delwood, said Sir. I don't want to be a good girl, I responded in a sad voice. I ain't going to take you nowhere else then. Oh, okay, I'll do it. Mr. Delwood smiled. Sir gave Mr. Delwood the keys to the car. Let her sit on the driver's side. All right, said Mr. Delwood with a smile. We got in the car, and immediately I put my hands on the wheel and pretended I was in a race car. I thought that if I was playing around, he wouldn't make me do it. I was wrong. Mr. Delwood pulled the brown thing from his pants. Come on, be a good girl, he said. I sat there silently and shook my head no. All right, I'm going to tell him not to buy you nothing. Okay, well, come on then, he said while slightly grabbing the back of my head. He led my head to this thing and put it in my mouth. Instantly, I began to gag. He tried to put my head down further, but I resisted. I moved his hand from the back of my head and took it out of my mouth and jumped out of the car. Sir was calling my name, but I ignored him and ran into the house.
Okay. You have just read an insert from Chapter 3, and the title of that chapter is Sir. Genei, can you tell the readers how old were you when that event in the book took place?
I was 3 years old.
You were 3 years old. And from what we just read, Sir, which was who is Sir? Who is the character of Sir in the book?
He is my adopted father.
Okay. So he apparently you walked outside and he basically gave you away to a friend of his to do sexual abuse. So not giving away too many details, does the event actually happen?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to open up for any questions. If you have any questions, as you heard some directions at the beginning of the call, you can press the number 1, and I'll be able to unmute you, and you can ask a question to Genei. Okay, Genei, you speak of some very heavy topics in Unmuted True Events of a Tormented Child. You speak of incest, molestation, and rape. Are you stating that all 3 of these experiences were different and that they happened at different times by different abusers?
Some of them happened by the same abusers. Molestation and rape happened by the same abuser. And so, yeah. Okay. Can you tell them again when the book will be released and how they can pre-order the book? The book will be released March 1st. And you can go and pre-order your copy at www.geneijones.com. Okay. Now, Genei, she already read an insert from the Chapter 3, which is called Sir. And she read an insert from there where she talked about a sexual abuse experience that happened at age 3, where Sir, which is her one of her abusers, actually gave her away to another man, and she had to perform a sexual favor in his car. And she, again, was 3 years old. Genei, can you tell them that you're going to read another insert from a different chapter, what that chapter title is? All right. I'm going to read from Chapter 1. Okay. And what's the name of that title? The Torment Chamber. Okay. So Genei is getting ready to read an insert from Chapter 1, and the chapter title is The Torment Chamber. Go ahead, Genei. Okay. Let's see. Hold on, give me a minute. I'm sorry, I lost my place. Okay. She saw the bruises in the baby's face, and immediately her heart sank with sorrow. It became clear to her why her niece had avoided her for so long. She didn't want to let her niece Tina know that she was aware of what was going on, so she played it off. "Hey, Harmony, baby, how my baby doing?" Sharon said while trying to be convincing. Baby Harmony's face was filled with pain. She seemed as though she was having a hard time breathing, and she whimpered at the slightest touch. Tears filled Sharon's eyes as she took Harmony and held her in her arms gently. "I missed you so much. I love you, baby," she said while rubbing Harmony's back as she lay on her shoulder. Harmony was still having trouble breathing. Sharon knew she had to do something, and fast. "So, how have you been, Tina?" she said while trying to keep her composure. "I've been all right," Tina responded nervously while looking at her daughter, Harmony. "That's good. You know, your mom is over at St. Peter's Hospital in rehab. How about you get dressed so we can go and see her?" asked Sharon. "No, I'm pretty tired, so me and Harmony are just going to stay here and take a nap," Tina answered quickly. Sharon knew that Tina was hiding something, and she wasn't taking no for an answer. "Well, we won't have to be there for too long. We're just going to see how she's doing. Plus, it'll give her time to spend with Harmony." Tina paused for a minute and looked at Harmony, then looked back at Sharon and said, "Okay, that's fine, I guess, but we can't stay long." "We won't. We're just going to see how she's doing and coming right back, that's all," Sharon responded, growing impatient. "Okay, well, I'll get dressed." Tina started to walk out of the room, but stopped and turned back around. "Here, give Harmony to me. I'm going to see if her pamper needs to be changed." Tina reached for the baby. Sharon hesitated but gave the baby to Tina. "Well, hurry up so we can go on and get there," said Sharon. "Okay, I won't be long." Tina exited the room and went upstairs. Sharon sat in the living room, anxiously waiting, heartbroken because her great niece, who was once full of so much life and joy, was in so much pain. She didn't know what was going on, but she was sure these bruises didn't come from a fall and was determined to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, that was an insert from the first chapter of Unmuted, True Events of a Tormented Child, and it's going to be released March the 1st, 2014, by author Genei Jones, and you are live with author Genei Jones. If you have any questions, please feel free to press 1, and I can unmute you, and you can ask questions for the author. As you heard, she read another insert from the book earlier, which was chapter 3, and that was Sir. Okay, so Genei, tell me, in this chapter, in chapter 1, you're speaking from a narrative. How old were you in this chapter?
I was about a year old.
You were about a year old. So do you actually personally remember events that took place at that time, or are you basing the details of this early chapter on things that have been told to you?
They've been told to me also. I've from information that I've retrieved from files I wrote from both of those.
Okay, because the main character in your book is named Harmony, and she is based off of true events of your life. So this is your personal story, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So prior to you writing the book, Unmuted, True Events of a Tormented Child, you've done some extensive research over your life. You went back and you've gotten some stories from family members. You've done retrieved some files, retrieved some information so that you can write true facts, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. How long did that process take before you began writing the book?
I was doing information and research for several months. It took me some time to actually get my the file of the actual case of the abuse and everything. But I wanted to make sure that I was, intact with factual events so that everything that I wrote could be true. And various biological family members of mine told me, the same stories, and so I just went off of that and what they actually, experienced at that time with me. So.
Okay. Because they were, so you actually spoke to people that were in your life at that time during the time that this event took place at age 1.
Right.
Okay. Again, we are talking to author Genei Jones, and she is talking about her book that will be released March the 1st, 2014, Unmuted, True Events of a Tormented Child. Again, because we've got some new callers on the line, Genei, since we first began the call. Can you explain again to them what differentiates your story from another story? Because we all have a story.
Right.
A lot of us have been through, incest, molestation, rape, just extensive traumatic sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and child abuse. But tell them what differentiates Unmuted from any other personal memoir that someone else might write that has gone through the same thing.
Well, as I was stating earlier, my story begins at a very young standpoint, and it's like ongoing throughout the book. I went through traumatic experience such from age 1 on up, and when writing this book, I just really wrote it for anyone who's ever went through a traumatic experience for molestation or child abuse, rape, anything like that, or any struggle, period, anything that anybody has ever went through. I wrote it for them to give voice to their story as well. And so this story to me is more than a story. It's really more of a movement for people who've been hurt, and so Unmuted was really, my way of speaking out.
Okay. Genei, would you like to read another insert for your readers?
I can do that, absolutely.
Okay. Let them know what chapter you're going to be reading from, and read a few paragraphs from that.
Okay. Let me see. I'll be reading from chapter 2.
Okay.
And title of this chapter is Abused. All right. Okay. Oh, my goodness. What happened to her? Asked the receptionist while paging Dr. Harper. Well, just a minute. The receptionist interrupted. Dr. Harper, I need you to come to the emergency room immediately. I'm with the patient right now. Give me 5 to 10 minutes. Please hurry. It's urgent. What's the situation? And now Dr. Harper asked. The receptionist looked at Sharon and Tina to see if they were paying any attention, but they were preoccupied with their own conversation. The receptionist replied in a very low tone. There's a baby down here. I believe she's been abused. I'm on my way, said Dr. Harper. The receptionist hung up the phone. Okay, now, you're her aunt? Asked the receptionist. Yes, her great aunt, said Sharon. Okay, where's her mother? Here she is, Sharon said while grabbing Tina and pulling her closer to the desk. Hello, ma'am. I need you to fill out these forms. Do you have insurance for her? Yes, I have insurance, Tina responded as she sat down. I need her card. Now, what happened to her? Tina paused and looked at Sharon. Yeah, Tina, what happened to her? Tina directed her attention back to the receptionist. Well, she was at her father's house. I'm just getting her back. And when did you get her back? Asked the receptionist. I believe it was like the day before yesterday, said Tina. But just last week when I called, you told me you had her and she was asleep, said Sharon. Tina paused as the attention was focused on her. She was there, but in between time, she was with her dad, Tina responded. The receptionist looked at Tina and began typing in the information. When did you notice the bruises in her breathing? Asked the receptionist. I noticed it today. The receptionist stopped typing and looked at Tina. Today? Yes, today. The receptionist grew irritated because she knew Tina was lying. Just by looking at the baby, she knew that there was no way Tina could have not known that the baby was hurt. So you got her back the day before yesterday, but you didn't notice anything was wrong with her until today? Asked the receptionist. Right, said Tina. The receptionist shook her head and finished typing in the information in the computer and put the wristband around Harmony's wrist. Just then, Dr. Harper walked in. He said nothing, just visually examined the baby. He looked at the receptionist and said, call for a stretcher. She did as he said. Dr. Harper then looked at Sharon and Tina. Who's the mother? She is, Sharon said while pointing at Tina. So what happened? He asked Tina. I just got her back from her dad. I didn't know anything was wrong with her until today. Dr. Harper looked at Harmony once more and said, so you didn't know anything about these bruises or why she's breathing like that and whimpering? He asked. No, I just noticed it today, Tina said with worry in her eyes. Do you think she may have any broken bones? Tina was silent and just sat there nervously tapping her foot, trying to figure out how to respond. Well, when we were upstairs, we had her in the other room on the bed, and she turned around on her stomach and her ribs were poking out of her back, Sharon said while getting choked up at the thought of it. Two nurses walked up with the stretcher. Hurry, we need to get her to X-ray immediately, said Dr. Harper to the nurses.
Okay, Genei has just read from Chapter 2 of Unmuted True Events of a Tormented Child, and that chapter is actually called Abuse. I want to stress to the listeners who are listening in that Genei is reading from, first let me introduce myself again for those who have just come online. My name is Arthur Tiffany Woods, and I am Genei's publisher of Inner Peace Publishing and Promotion. Genei is reading from the uncut, unedited, raw version of Unmuted. And I just want to let you guys know that this book has truly moved and touched me. It is an assignment that I do not take lightly. I'm very grateful to God, that He's allowed me into the journey of being publishing advisor to Genei. Genei, what you have just read with your listeners, the readers of this book, is from the second chapter. And again, you were one, because this kind of follows the first chapter when the abuse first began. As you were writing these early chapters, these first three chapters, and you're writing from a narrative place, did this bring up some old, some old hurt that maybe you even thought you were over and that you had, made peace with? Because tell your listeners how old you are right now.
I'm 24 now.
Okay. So this is 23 years ago. And you've had a long, as you've grown up, you're now an adult, young adult, and doing great things now. So you had, most of your life to process, to go through healing. You have a relationship with God now. You're in a better place. But writing this, when you're writing something, it always brings up something. When you had to revisit this, did you find yourself maybe in a different place, some old anger, some old resentment, some old hurt? Can you tell your readers, that process of those first early chapters?
Absolutely. It was very difficult to revisit certain situations, and I found myself crying a lot. It was a lot of hurt that came up, a lot of anger, resentment that came up. But in instances like that, I just had to take time away from writing and just pray, because I just found it becoming too painful at sometimes, and almost becoming too difficult. But in instances like that, I would just have to take myself away for a minute, talk to God, and regather myself.
Okay. I do have a question, Genei, from one of your listeners, and the listener would like to know how have you found yourself in doing so? How has this made you feel towards your mother? And I'm guessing that the listener is wondering from these early chapters and from men, because you've read from chapter 3, third to the listeners, about 2 different abusers in that chapter. How has this made you feel towards your mother and them? And that's 2 different questions.
Okay, so how has it made me feel towards my mother?
Yes.
For a long time, it took me a long time to actually come to the point of forgiveness, and writing this was a cleansing process. While writing it, of course, I did become angry, very angry with her in this writing process. But again, I just had to get away from myself and just go off and pray about it and everything. But for a while, I had a lot of resentment, a lot of hurt, pain, and anger towards her for a very long time. But in writing this project, it has also helped me heal and helped me, gain closure from the situation. It was a way of actual cleansing for me. And as far as it has made me feel about men, well, given my experiences, at a very young age, I believe that it did for a while mess me up, because I didn't really for a long time I didn't really believe in love from a man. I didn't really believe that I could be loved, truly from a man. But also in finding myself and also gaining my relationship with God and everything, I've just grown and saw differently. I know that all men aren't out to hurt you, or all men aren't out to just do bad things to you, or things like that. So it was just, writing this has been a growing experience for me. But for a long time, I was messed up about it.
Right. What you listeners did not hear is some other, of course, the rest of the chapters 1 and 2. She just read small inserts from them. But I do want to ask a question as your publisher from chapter 2. The listeners, they don't know the rest of the chapter, but I want to ask a question. Does your biological father, have you had a chance to process anything with him? Because he plays a major role in chapter 2 as well. Have you had a chance to process with him those early events of your life?
Yes. He's also spoken with me before I even began writing my book. I had conversations with him about what went on and, the abuse factor and everything. And he's also, spoke with me and explained everything, as well as, other family members of mine.
Have you received any remorse from either one of them? Have they ever said, hey, I'm sorry? Have they validated that all of this, everything that you found in the files, have they validated and apologized for anything?
My father, he did apologize and was like, I'm sorry that you went through that. My mother, she would downplay the whole, thing. Like, it was almost like she was unremorseful about it. She was just like, okay, well, this happened to you, your legs got broken. Okay, get over it, like that. And so that's why for a long time I just had a very strong resentment for her and, a lot of anger towards her. And, it took a lot of prayer for me to even come to the point where I could forgive her.
Right. Genei, if you don't mind, I would like to share with your listeners and potential readers of Unmuted, True Events of a Tormented Child, an insert that really kind of touched me, and it's from chapter 6, which is called Family Pray, and of course, pray is spelled P-R-E-Y. If you don't mind, I'd like to read a few paragraphs from that chapter and share with them. This was quite an experience as I went through this book, as I accepted the manuscript from Genei and editing and having to read. It caused me to do a lot of praying, I must share with you guys. I want to read from, again, chapter 6, Family Pray. I immediately left out the room and called for my mother. She wasn't in her room, so I looked in the kitchen, and there she was washing dishes. Mama, what? I was in the bathroom looking at my eye, and Cortez came in there to see it too. Then he asked for my hand, and he started rubbing me and grabbing me, saying he wants me and wants my body. She had a look on her face of complete shock and disapproval. Cortez, she called him, but he didn't respond. She walked into the bathroom where he was still standing. What the hell is wrong with you? She asked. He stood there silently. This is your damn sister, your blood sister. You don't tell her you want her body. What the hell is wrong with your brain? Nothing, Cortez said nonchalantly. No, nigga, something got to be wrong with you. Anytime you're looking at your sister and telling her you want her body. Now, the next time I hear you telling her you want her body, I'm going to beat the hell out of you. Yes, ma'am, Cortez responded. You nasty-ass pervert, she called him. I was stunned at the fact that he was able to blow off that entire situation without any repercussions. Cortez knew this, and because of this, things would get worse. That nigga got issues. Him and Raven both, neither one of them can be trusted, said my mother. I almost regret coming over. I was dealing with enough drama as it is. I went into the living room to watch TV. After an hour or so flicking through channels, I felt that it was time to put the fight together. I was trying to just move on from it and pretend like it hadn't happened. I went upstairs to see if Raven and Cortez would sleep, and they were. I went to go get the rubber spiders. When my mother saw me grab them, she followed me upstairs. I placed most of them under Raven's bed because I knew she would be the funniest to watch. This is something I had been looking forward to do for a very long time. I'm going to stop there. If you can tell your readers how old you were when this took place. And, of course, what I just read for you was chapter 6, and that's Family Pray. So a lot has happened from chapters 1 and 2 and 3 that Genei shared with you, and we're now ahead in chapter 6. How old were you at this time, Genei?
I was 14 years old at that time.
Okay. You're talking about an incident, and I got to tell you guys, after that, it does get pretty get pretty bad. If it does a such thing as get worse from what you heard in chapter 3, it does. Can you share with them? Do you have a relationship with the character Cortez at this time in your life?
No.
Okay. And is this because of some things that happened during this time period? Have you made peace and process with the character Cortez?
We have, but it's just, I don't know, it's difficult, with us because in some instances, he'll still make comments towards me, and I just had to distance myself from him because I can't even,
Yeah, and even as you're talking about that, Genei, I can see that is pretty. It's still pretty touchy, because this happened at age 14, and we're talking 10 years. We're not talking 20 years. So that probably is a lot to process. What about the character Raven? Do you have a relationship with her?
Our relationship is on and off. We aren't really able to be that close because of my mother. But
okay.
She and I made amends and everything, but, we just aren't as close.
Okay. Okay. Again, can you tell your listeners where they can pre-order their copy of Unmuted, the price of it, the name of your website, the information, and when it's going to be released, so that everybody can have a chance to write that information down and share it, and how they can connect with you on social media if they're not already connected?
Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. The book will be released March 1st, but you can pre-order your copy at www.geneijones.com. The price of the pre-order for right now is $11.99. After February 1st, the price does go up. If you'd like to connect with me, you can add me on Facebook at author Genei Jones. You can follow me on Twitter at author Genei J. And those are my social media sites. So feel free to follow me and add me on either one.
And my name is author Tiffany Nicole Woods, and I am Genei's publisher of Inner Peace Publishing and Promotion. Genei will be available for book signings, speaking engagements, conferences, seminars. She's going to be an inspirational speaker and coming from a place of the things that she is talking about in Unmuted. Molestation, abandonment, rape, incest, even being, a product of the foster care system, child abuse, witnessing some other things that she talks about in the book. She will be available to come and speak to young people, adults as well, but she will definitely be able to, because a lot of the young people that are going through these things right now, they don't know how to process that. And so she'll be able to, be available to come, and you can reach to book her and give her an invitation at innerpeacepromotions@gmail.com. That's innerpeacepromotions@gmail.com, and you can send me your inquiries to invite Genei to come and speak, and let me know the date that you would like her to come, and I can speak with her about booking her for that event. Again, her website is www.genei, and her name is spelled again Genei, Jones.com, and you can pre-order now. And I would like you to just encourage everyone to pre-order your book right now, and to spread the word. When we have young people like this that come forward and are ready to come out with their story and share it for the purposes of helping others. Genei, let them know that, what your reason behind finally becoming unmuted.
Well, part of the reason is,
or what you're looking to accomplish with this book.
Well, I'm looking to accomplish to touch readers all across the world, people who have been through struggles and turmoil and torment and molestation, abuse, any type of hurt at any time. When they read this story, I hope that they will to gain strength and peace with them, try to make peace with their situation as I've made with mine. There are a lot of people who haven't told their story, and they're still wrapped up, they're still bottled up, and they're still muted. And I've really told my story to give voice to theirs, so that they can come out and
right.
make peace with their story as well.
Okay. If you have a question before we end the conference call with author Genei Jones, you can press now and I can unmute you, and you can ask Genei the question. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get ready to end the phone call. Again, her website is www.genei, and that's spelled Genei, Jones.com. She is available for any speaking engagements prior to the release of Unmuted. You can, send those inquiries to innerpeacepromotions@gmail.com, and I will speak with Genei about that. I am her publisher and her booking agent. So please let me know what she can come in and how she can be of service to your teens, your adolescents, your young adults, at your church, at your school, in any other organization, especially our young people who are going through the foster care system. So please send me those inquiries, innerpeacepromotions@gmail.com. Pre-order your book today. Please share this information with your family, your friends. This is going to be a very epic movement. Unmuted, true events of a tormented child. And you have been live with author Genei Jones, where she has read several inserts from that book. I thank you for listening to this morning, and God bless, and to God be the glory.